Today we're going to be looking at two baby blankets, same pattern, just in different colourways. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel Kazzalistic, and hi to my new subscribers. I've had a massive jump in subscriber numbers, so thank you for everyone that has pressed the subscribe button, and thank you for joining me. I do hope you'll enjoy my channel. So today we're looking at two baby blankets. As I've said in the intro, they are the same pattern, just different colourways. I'd actually only intended to do one colourway, but ended up doing two. There is a reason for it, which I will explain as I go along. So first of all, I'll show you the one. So this is what I would call the boy version. So we've got a bright yellow, pale green and sort of a baby blue. Now each of these are 5 blocks by 3 blocks across. So they are baby blanket square, you know, sort of size. And then they have a border round of one of each colour on the outside. And I'll just show you the other one, make sure I've got it the right way around. Yep. So again, it's 3 blocks high by 3 blocks across. And this is obviously done in white, sort of a lemon pale yellow and a pale pink. So obviously this is the female version. I think they've come out really, really pretty. The pattern I've used is actually a book that was donated, underneath me, is a book that was actually donated to me by one of my mum's neighbours quite a while back. And I was flicking through it recently, and this particular pattern stood out because of the colourway, because I had the bright yellow in this one. I'd actually bought, to finish my virus blanket off, the white and cream one that I did, not white and cream, yellow and cream one that I did recently. And I'd ordered this so that I could make it a bit bigger, but I actually got the wrong colour code, and it was a lot darker yellow than what I'd been using. So I ended up not using it. It was just 2 balls, so it wasn't a huge amount, and it was baby yarn, so I thought, ooh. So the book that I've been working from is called the Encyclopedia of Crochet Techniques by Eaton. So that's the book. I'd have to look inside to see how old it was, but it was $12.99 the original price. I don't know how much it is now. This was published in 2007, twice in 2008 and twice in 2009. The copyright goes back to 2006, so it's a fairly old book, but I would imagine you'd probably still be able to pick it up. So basically it's got all different techniques. It tells you stitches, how to do basics, what things you'll need. Covers things like Tunisian crochet, broomstick crochet, hairpin crochet, a bit of everything. And it's also got squares in them. So I'm just going to so you've got what they call the stitch collection. I'm going to see if I can do this without showing too much. So the one I've worked from is this square here. This is what their version looked like in the book. Now, as you can see, there is a chart there as well, and it's a written pattern as well, just for the square. And then further back there is and it's just called the Baby Afghan. It's project 2 in the back of the book. They've got a few little projects so you can practice some of the skills that you've gained. So if I put my hand over that bit, because that's a bit of the pattern. So that's the one that inspired me, the colourway. So as you can see, that's all greens and sort of yellows. And then it's got the block arrangement there. Oh, got the tripod then, sorry. So that's the book that I've worked from. Now this square that I've used is actually called the Croydon square, Croydon. And it's actually a very simple pattern. So you start with a chain 4. So if you don't like magic loop, this is a good one for you. You start with a chain 4 and join with a slip stitch. You then do US doubles. You start with a chain 4, then you do US double crochets or UK trebles, chain 1, double or treble depending where you are, and you do that 12 times. which is this bit here. And then you basically do clusters. In each chain space you do clusters of 3 UK trebles or US doubles and chain 3 in between, which is what these bits here. It doesn't quite look like this, but obviously as you add the other stitches it sort of looks okay. And you do that in the first colour, which on my squares have either been blue or yellow. I've alternated. Then the next round on this blanket has always been green, so both you'll see green there, pale green there, and that's where you basically make it into a square. So in one of the chain spaces you'll do 5 US double crochets or trebles if you're in the UK, a chain in each corner, and then you anchor it with a US single crochet, and then do a chain 5, anchor it, do another corner, and that's basically how you work round. So it's quite simple. It sounds very complicated, but it honestly isn't. And then you change to your outside colour, which I've alternated between yellow and blue. So I'll show you on the blue so you can see, because obviously you've got the border around. And you basically work trebles into each of the trebles, but you skip the last treble and you do chain 4, anchor it, chain 4, skip the first stitch, trebles, chain for a corner, and work round like that. Then the following round is exactly the same, but instead of skipping one UK treble or US double, you skip 2. Put the chain there. Now here's where the two blankets of mine differ. The written pattern, there's a mistake in the book. The written pattern says to do US single crochet or a UK double crochet. The chart, and if those of you who've been with me for a while will remember, one of my goals was to actually start reading charts better. Chart was beautifully laid out. Each colourway for each set of yarn was in a different gradient of black or grey, so it was quite easy to follow. Probably one of the clearest charts I've worked with. In the chart it actually shows it as a US double or a UK treble. So with this one I've done trebles. So you skip your two, you do your US doubles, UK trebles there. You do a chain 4. Now, and you'll see in that the other blanket I've actually done them as US singles or UK doubles, and this one I've done it as UK doubles, US doubles, UK trebles with chains in between. So there is a slight difference, and then you skip 2 stitches, you double crochet or treble crochet right to the end, you put in 2 stitches in each corner, a chain, 2 stitches in the corner, and round, and it basically works around like that. So that's it for all you do for the square, and it's exactly the same for the other one. So I'm just going to show, so on this one, as you can see, I've actually done the US singles or UK doubles here. So this is where you'll see the difference between the two patterns, and I've forgotten to put my tablet on silent again. I'm really forgetful just recently with that, I do apologise. So this is where, if you use it as a double crochet, US terms, or treble in the UK, or a double in the UK, or a single if you're in US terms. So it just closes the gap up basically. So it depends whether you want it gappy or a smaller gap. Both have worked out absolutely fine. The only difference I found is, and I'm not sure if it's because of the yarn difference or because of that particular stitch, this one, although it's the same height, is very slightly wider than my other one, but it could be the yarn because I've used different yarns in them. So that's probably my mum messaging me. She's just been to visit. So yes, so for the border for this one I've done pink, yellow and white, and then on the border on this one I've done yellow, pink and blue. And basically you US double, UK trebles, I'm trying to remember, I'm getting my terminology around the wrong way today, all the way round, put in 3 stitches in the corners, or was it, no, sorry, 5 stitches in the corners, all the way down, and then the green you basically do exactly the same, and you put in the 5 in the corner in the middle of the previous the middle stitch, so in the 3rd stitch of the previous group of 5. And then the final bit of the border is single crochet all the way around. That's US terms, double crochet in the UK, and in the 3rd stitch of the 5 from the previous round you put 3 stitches just to make it a bit smaller. So both the borders are exactly the same, I've just done different colourways. Okay, so the yarns that I've used, we'll start with the boy version first. So the yarns I've used, it's very hard to kind of get it all on camera. Right, so the blue yarn, I used Woolcraft Baby Care DK, so it's this yarn here, so Woolcraft Baby Care DK, you've seen me feature this a lot just recently on the channel. The 100 gram balls, which are 100% acrylic, they are approximately 300 metres, and the shade is 603. Show you there. 603. Now, this is what I've got left. It's quite small. I did have a lot more of this, but if you remember my last video, I made little jacket or vest for the pig that I made in the last video, and I used some of what was left over from this project. So there was a little bit more. There was roughly that amount. So as you can see, I've used, there is a little bit of a difference. So almost 100 gram ball for the blue for this project. The green is, the pale green is exactly the same. It's Woolcraft Baby DK. So Woolcraft Baby Care DK. Again, it's 100% acrylic, 300 metres, and it is shade 606. Now both these yarns were donated by Kim, who is Blue Cherub 82 off YouTube, so I just want to say thank you, Kim. They've been lovely yarns to work with. As you can see, I've still got some left. I've still got quite a lot of green left, believe it or not. So out of the green, because I was only doing the middle sections around where you create it into a square, I've actually got this cake of yarn left, so I've got quite a bit. So, and then for the yellow, bright yellow, I've actually used Mariner. I've just got to undo my label. I didn't realise I forgot to put a sticky label on it when I did the ball up. It's a Mariner yarn. Those who have been with me for a while will know that I love Mariner yarns because they're good acrylics. They are on the slightly thinner double knit size. However, most of Mariner yarns are between £1 and £1.50 per 100 gram balls. So I've used Mariner, if I can get this so you can see I haven't got a lot left, Mariner Super Soft Baby. The shade for this one was 506, sorry, 506. It's 100% acrylic. Unfortunately on Mariners it is a double knit yarn, but it doesn't tell you how many meters or yards there are. But as you can see, this is how much I've got left, so it's just a very small amount left from that 100 gram ball. So basically I've been able to make this entire blanket with, well, 3 100 gram balls, and I've still got some left over, so I think that's pretty good. So that's the male one. The one thing I will say about these blankets, they did need a lot of heavy blocking. I actually had to put them through the washing machine and block them, and they're still, it's where I've stitched them up. If you don't like sewing blocks together, then you won't like this project. I mean, it's a bit like doing granny squares together. What I've done is I have whip stitched each square round before I've put the border on. There are a lot of ends for this project, and I left them all to the end because I'm stupid like that. Yeah, and it took me quite a few hours to weave all the ends in. So for the female one, I'm just going to bring that a bit closer to the camera so that you can see. So they're the combinations of the squares I've done, with pink in the middle or white on the outside, or white in the middle and pink on the outside, and the yellow remains in the same bit all the way through. So the yarns that I've used for that blanket are the pink one is a Signet yarn, put my teeth in, Signet Kiddies Super Soft DK. It's a 100-gram ball, so that's the yarn. It was a 100-gram ball, which was 298 meters, 100% acrylic, and the shade is 428 pink. There we go. And that little string there is all I had left. That's after I sewed all the squares together with pink. So that's with sewing as well. So that literally was 100 grams for that one. For the white, I've used Mariner Baby Super Soft again. The reason I didn't use the pink Mariner Super Soft Baby that I used for my sister's blanket, if you remember, I used similar colours in the blanket I made for my niece, is because I couldn't get the pink online, so that's why I had to use the Signet yarn. For some reason I just couldn't get it. So so the white is Mariner Super Soft Baby, double knit, and the shade is 500. Again, it's 100% acrylic yarn. They don't show yardage. And the yellow, sorry, I was just looking to see the colour code. So it's Mariner Super Soft Baby again. You have to forgive me, I'm a little bit tired today, so it's been a busy day. 503. My brain's a little bit all over the place. So it's basically, I think this is called Lemon, I think, on the website. So if I just show you the difference between the two yellows, as you can see, this is what I used for my virus blanket. That was the colour I ordered, so there was a marked difference between the two yellows. So as you can see, I've got a fair bit of the yellow left over and quite a bit of the white as well. So again, it's less than 300 grams for the entire project. So I thought that's worked out quite well. We've got some yarn left over, two beautiful blankets. Now the reason I ended up doing this blanket was the neighbour who lives underneath us saw this blanket as I'd finished it. I hadn't tied in the ends, but she saw it because she comes up and visits us most days. And she loved it so much that she asked me to make one because she's got a great-grandchild on the way, and it's going to be a girl, and I think all her grandchildren, all great-grandchildren have all been boys. So because it's a girl, she's very excited. So she asked me if I would make her a blanket because she knew it'd be better quality and it would be something she could choose. So we talked about colours. She paid for the yarn. I obviously ordered it, and yeah. And I actually ordered 2 balls of each colour, so I've got 1 ball of each colour left. So what I've actually said to her is I've offered to make her a baby cardigan. So that will probably be coming up sometime in the next few weeks. The baby's not due till October, I think. So yeah, so we will. Too busy folding the blanket up. Look, stop. Yeah, so I will be using some of the yarns. I don't know if I'm going to use all 3 colours or 1 colour. I need to talk to her later about what she would like. But I've offered to make a cardigan, and I might just throw in some booties just for the hell of it. So that might be an upcoming video when I actually get round. I've got to decide on a pattern first. But I haven't decided on a pattern. I've got to go through what I've got in my stash to see what I can make. And I thought I would... Oh, and I haven't said hook size, have I? Dear oh dear. The hook sizes I used were, for the main blanket, I used a 4mm hook. So for all the squares, it was 4mm, and then for the border, it was a 3.5mm hook. Sorry, I nearly forgot hook size. It's the one thing I always tend to forget. Some of you said that you wanted to see some of the project bags that I've been making. Now, I will say I'm no seamstress. I'm very lazy when it comes to ironing. I haven't ironed this. I know I should have done. I know that's a rap on the knuckles. For those of you sewers will probably be horrified. This was my first go at a project bag, but I'm super chuffed with this. So this is my project bag that I've been using for the hold these blankets in. I haven't actually measured the sides of it, but it is quite big. No, I'm not planning to sell any before anybody asks, because I'm not an accomplished sewer. This was material that my mum picked up from a car boot sale quite a few years ago and hadn't got round to using. It cost £2 for this entire bit of fabric, so there's quite a bit there for £2. I thought that was really good. I did order the cord especially online, which I just got off Amazon. I think I got something like 10 metres or something. So it's just bog standard cord. I haven't lined it. I already had some cottons that my dad had bought me a while back, so I've managed to sort of get a, ooh, keeps going in that focus. So I've done something where you can see where I've stitched it, but it does blend in. But it's all harvest autumn. I think that's really cute. I love this fabric so much. It's come up really well. I've boxed the bottom, which I didn't know how to do before. I found a really easy tutorial where basically all you do is you find the corner point, you measure, I think it was 3 inches down, make sure you've got it so it is at a right angle, and then stitch across. I always thought box bottoms were really, really complicated, and maybe they are, I don't know, but that worked. As you can see, I've still got ends, and look, I'm going to be honest here, look, I have ends and stuff, it's not properly finished. I haven't ironed my seam flat and all that, and I know I should do it, but I know some of you were asking. There is one other bag that I've made, and the material's not quite so pretty as this one, and this one's come out slightly bigger because I just went with the size of the material rather than faff about too much, but it's a really good size, and it does actually hold quite a lot. So I know that some of you wanted to see that, so that's one of the bags, and I'll show the other bag when the project that I'm using it for is finished, and I'll show that at the same time. I have a channel shout out that I want to do, which I've actually remembered what it is this week, because the last video I couldn't remember. It's one of my subscribers. She's been subscribed for quite a while, but just recently has started putting her own vlogs up. Her name is Linny, and her channel is called Candigoth Creations. I will put a link to that down in the description. I like helping other new channels out. If it hadn't been for people doing shout outs to my channel wouldn't have even got to where it is now. Certainly wouldn't have got past the first 100 subscribers. So because other people did it for me, and I like to give back, we are an awesome community. The craft community is so loving and generous. You know, I can't afford to do expensive stuff. If you're new to the channel, I am a full-time carer to a friend, have a very, very low income, so I can't always afford to give gifts, but I can afford to do shout outs. So Linny, I hope that helps your channel grow a bit. Thank you to those of you that did subscribe to my sister's channel. I haven't had a chance to speak to her, but on behalf of her I just want to say thank you, and I'm glad that those of you that did go across and look found her quite funny and enjoyed the channel. So, and that's a little channel shout out. There is something else I want to show you that's arrived today, which has been a huge blessing and just was a little unexpected. So I'm just going to pause the camera because I forgot to put it beside me, and then I'll be back. Hello, did you miss me? So this morning, hadn't been up very long at all, and the doorbell went. And I've been speaking to one of my subscribers, a lady called Sandra. She's been a subscriber for quite a long time. And a couple of videos back, those of you that have been with me, sort of that do watch my videos right to the end, you would have heard me mention that I'm actually running out of crochet hooks because I've got so many projects on the go. You know, I'm making 2 items a week to share with you guys most of the time. I know I do have odd weeks where I just do one if my caring responsibilities take over, and unfortunately that is what it is, but on the whole I try and do 2 projects for you a week. So as you can imagine, it's a lot of work, and I have a lot of stuff on the go, particularly bigger projects. You know, they take a long while. I have to sort of dip in and out of them while I'm doing all the smaller projects as well, so that you've still got content coming to you. Anyway, Sandra very kindly offered to send me some spare crochet hooks that she had. The difficulty being was that she's in America, which is the other side of the world from me. I'm based in the United Kingdom. So I sort of said to her, well, it will probably cost you a lot of money, probably more than the hooks are worth. You know, please don't spend a lot of money. So I gave her some of my address details so she could look up the price, and she agreed it was very, very expensive. Shortly after that, she then messaged me to say I had a parcel on the way. So I wasn't sure what to expect, and I didn't know whether it was coming from America or not. Anyway, I got a parcel this morning. The doorbell went. It was the postman. Parcel from the Wool Warehouse, which is a company here in the UK. I think most people are familiar with them. And I was thinking, I didn't order anything. Got my name on it. So I opened it up, and this is what I found. So I've got one of their big organza bags, which are obviously brilliant for, the big ones are brilliant for storing things like blankets and stuff in. Yeah, so I'm still in the plastic. I've got, she's very kindly sent me 3 Karen cakes. The colourway is called Bumbleberry. 80% acrylic, 20% wool, 200 gram cakes. They're a number 4 worsted weight if you're in the US, which is like our Aran weight over here. And they're approximately 383 yards, which is 350 metres. So there's a, I've got this beautiful, tell she's listened to my channel. If you're new to the channel, my favourite colour is purple. So I'll do it from that side as well, so you can see the cakes. I will obviously feature these again when they're out of the plastic, but you can see Bumbleberry. So I've got 3 of those, so that was very kind of you, Sandra. I have actually messaged and spoken to Sandra in private and thanked her personally, but I just want to acknowledge on camera, thank you ever so much. It was really kind, and you really didn't need to do that. And she's also sent me 3 Knit Pro crochet hooks. So I have a 4, 5 and 5.5 millimeter. So that's what the hooks look like. I've never tried Knit Pro, so this is going to be interesting. Apparently it says it's got soft grip. So yeah, so she sent me those to help me keep going. And I had a lovely note that basically, I'm not going to read it word for word, but basically said that it worked out cheaper to send the yarn and the hooks from all direct from Wool Warehouse in the UK than it was going to cost her to send her hooks or something from her stash in America. She's told me to make something for myself with the Karen cakes. So thank you very much, Sandra. My mind is already going towards cardigans or jumper or sweater, you call them in the US. But I've got to find the right pattern. Yes, so that was a nice surprise, and she said congratulations on a successful podcast and thank you for your volunteer work. So thank you very much, Sandra. I shed a little tear this morning. I did tell her that, but I did get a little bit overcome. So that was very kind and very unexpected. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I thought you guys would like to see, you know, new hooks and yarn and stuff. We all love that, don't we? So yes. So this, as far as my blankets go, this one will be going to my neighbour. I did block it, but because I folded it up again, it probably needs blocking again. And then this one will be going off to Woolly Hugs. If you're new to the channel, you haven't heard about Woolly Hugs, it's a UK charity. They do all sorts of different projects. I'm going to link their Facebook group and their website down in the description, so you can look up what projects they've got, because there's all different sorts of projects. Some are more involved in than others. So this blanket will, we've got all blurry. This project will be going off to the refugee project, which will basically enable a mum who has nothing and has become a refugee to wrap her baby up. So I really like that idea. So, and it's washed up really nice and soft as well. So I'm really quite pleased with that. I find it so rewarding doing stuff for other people. I like making stuff for myself, don't get me wrong, but there's something really rewarding about doing it for other people. So if you, no matter where you are in the world, Woolly Hugs accepts stuff from people from all over the world. Obviously you do have to allow for shipping costs if you aren't in the UK. But there are lots of charities all over the world, and you know, my channel really is just to give you ideas of stuff you can make for yourself, stuff you can make for charity, and just so show that you can make really beautiful stuff on a budget. I mean, this project literally would have been about £5, five US pound, 5 UK pounds. So obviously there's a little bit of a difference if you're in another part of the world, but I think that's pretty good. You couldn't buy something like that quality. Well, it would cost you a fortune, wouldn't it, if you were to buy it in a baby shop. My neighbour bought literally about 4 things in a baby shop that we've got in town. It's very expensive. She spent £80. So it just goes to show, I mean, something like that would have been really, really expensive. So I think it's worth making stuff yourself, isn't it? You get better quality. So that's pretty much it. There is no life update, really, because I've mainly been crocheting, doing housework, looking after my friend, been shopping. Nothing exciting has been happening, I'm afraid. No dramas. So there's nothing really much to report, I'm afraid. So it's all been quiet here. I hope those of you that are still being affected by the hurricane and particularly the floodings, I hope that you're all okay. If you're even able to watch this, but if you're watching this later on, then I do hope that you haven't lost too much and that the damage hasn't been too bad for wherever you are. And I hear that there's another hurricane potentially going to hit the US, further across sort of near the Florida and South Carolina kind of areas that potentially it might be hitting. So that's quite scary because it's sounding like it potentially could be quite a high category. I'm very glad that in the UK that we only get the tail end of hurricanes and we get high winds and there's some damage, but nothing like what you guys have in America or elsewhere in the world. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you are safe and that you are well. Yeah, so that's it. Love to know what you're all working on. I do enjoy because it gives me ideas as well and helps me keep my channel fresh. I am working on stuff for Christmas. I've got a few little different ideas. I am going to try and make a few bits sort of with a Halloween theme, but I will just say I don't personally celebrate Halloween. I know it's a huge thing for you guys in America and it's becoming a bigger thing in here in the UK. Me personally, I don't celebrate Halloween. I'm not going to go into the for whys and wherefores, and I don't want to get into arguments. It's just my personal thing. But to acknowledge that, what I'm going to do is try and put maybe 1 or 2 things up that I can still donate to Woolly Hugs, but that might give you some ideas for either costumes or for things, you know, for decorations and stuff. So that's what I'm planning to do. So I might do 1 or 2 of those in October in the run up to Halloween. Not sure how many. I've got two ideas at the minute, so it just depends on what I can, whether I've got the right yarns and whether I can get it made in time, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm getting lots of Christmas ideas, so I think I'm going to be able to do a whole month of December will be Christmas stuff, so that will be interesting to do something a little bit different, won't it? So the next video, I know a lot of you guys like to know, I'm going to be running a superheroes series. I'm not going to do this all in one big glut because not everybody likes amigurumis, but just to give you some ideas. So the next video, it will be for using a crochet kit. I'm about three quarters of the way through. I thought the character was going to be about this big, and it works out about that big, so it's literally a mini superhero. So that will be coming up in the next video, which will be around about Tuesday, Wednesday time, providing all goes well and smoothly in my life. So that'll be the next video, and after that I don't know. So it's just what I get inspired by and what I have time to make. I do have some other bigger projects on the go, but unfortunately they take a long while to do. So things like blankets and that do take quite a while to do, unfortunately. So that's why I do tend to fill the channel in with some amigurumis, just to keep things ticking over. Hopefully on the run up to the winter I would like to get another cardigan or jumper up on the channel. It just depends on what I get time wise, because again, it's big projects take longer to do, don't they? So it's difficult. Yeah, so I think that's everything. So that's it for today. So until next time, remember to stay well, happy crafting, and until next time, remember to stay true to yourself. Bye.